think I'm a bit late to this game, but whatever. This is Rivalrize. Well, half of Rivalrize. I'll see what my sister thinks after I'm done with this. The Aftermath tier list. Well, not quite Aftermath. We're a few days into the season of the Oshtek army. And I thought by the end of the season, I wanted to get a better understanding of where characters stand. And where they stand from my perspective. But before the season even ends, I thought I'd do one before just to see how much things change after. I know we're only like a couple of days in, but let's give it a go. Chronica is not playable, so Chronica out. Out Chronica. No, Chronica. Chronica! Get off the tip. Okay. Hope you're happy. Robocop, I've seen maybe one or two. They don't quite scare me, unless somehow they get the jump on me with projectiles. There we go. Shiva, again, haven't seen enough to get any true idea of what she's capable of. Didn't really try out Shiva much either myself. Fujin. Don't think he's quite the best of the best, because he doesn't do enough damage. Spawn is kind of the other way around. He has all the damage he needs, but he isn't really all that threatening with the ways he achieves them. Joker can stay up there. I cannot think against the Joker. It is actually horrifying. Sindel. Sindel is quite predictable. I don't see enough Terminators to have any more valid an opinion, but every Terminator I've seen, it has been a fairly simple fight. Sub-Zero... We'll come back to Sub-Zero. Sonya Blade, I've seen can be horrifying, but the ones I've seen so far are not all that strong, but just not used to the fullest potential. Scarlet. I've seen a few Scarlets. Every single one has beaten me so far in my time of playing the Combat League. This season anyway. Scarlet's had a pretty strong standing, purely because of the frame traps. I'd put her in, because she's not as scary as Sindel Sonya, but Scarlet is good in the right hands. Shao Kahn. I'm going to put in front of Fujin. The Aftermath patches, without even reading the notes, just getting a feel for what Shao Kahn was like after, because I used Shao Kahn before the patch, and my god, there were so many subtle changes. Like Dragon Toe is so much faster, you can actually juggle with it. His forward 3-4 string is actually special cancelable now, so you have a guessing game of, am I going to go for the throw? Am I going to go for the shoulder tackle? You aren't too sure. And Shao Kahn has really just become too scary. Even against him, like, it has me guessing, and I know how Shao Kahn works, so no one is really safe from him. Scorpion got a crushing blow in his throw. I don't really think he needs that. I'm gonna put Scorpion there. Strong, but Scorpion doesn't scare me. Shang Tsung, okay. Shang Tsung has kind of been the same before and after the patch so far, because I've not seen the variation which has his armor break. That's the one that can really cause a lot of trouble if things get going. Warlock doesn't scare me. Soul Eater, the one where he has the ninjas, is not all that threatening either, from my experience. That's not to take anything away from the Shang Tsung players that I've faced. They were all pretty good so far, but let's put Shang Tsung here for now. Raiden got a bit stronger, but again, based on the matchups I've seen, Raiden has not been too amazing. He's put up a tough fight every time. However, he is beatable. Noob Saibot. Same. A good Noob Saibot is quite tough to get around. Nightwolf. Maybe. Yeah, let's put Nightwolf there. Nightwolf is fairly straightforward. I think I've been beaten by a fair few. I've also beaten a fair few myself though. You just kind of have to understand what he's going to do. But that's the same with every other character. He's beatable. He's strong but beatable. Liu Kang... I'm gonna put... yeah, Liu Kang is up here. Spawn, I think, comes down a little bit. Because while he has all the damage, it's quite hard to pull it all off. Liu Kang, however, has crushing blows for every situation. That bothers me. You could have the life lead all you want, but if Liu Kang has any of his crushing blows available or his bicycle kick loaded up, life lead sometimes just quite literally doesn't matter. Stupid monk. Kung Lao, the not so stupid monk. I'm going to put Kung Lao here. I think Kung Lao, you kind of need to understand when you're going to use your meter to compensate for the frame disadvantage, or just to have them guessing that little bit extra. Because a lot of Kung Lao's moves are unsafe, and I think they're unsafe because he has the option to use meter. So when you feel like your opponent's not expecting you to use the meter for a lot of the attacks, like the Z-Hat for when he teleports, for when you use Orbiting Hat, he has a lot of moves where when you think he's done, he can actually go a step further. Whether you choose to go the step further or not is kind of how you incorporate the mind games. Kung Lao is fun though. One of the more fun characters in the game. Not my best. I'd say Shao Kahn is my best right now. Before Shao Kahn, it was still Shao Kahn, somehow. Or Kano. But we'll get to Kano in a sec. Kotal Kahn. Kotal is... Since the third tournament variation, in my opinion, Kotal has actually become destructive. Like, really destructive, and nothing to do with the Aftermath DLC or anything, none of the patches. Since Variation 3 became a thing, Bullock Kotal has been one of my guardian angels pretty much. Win-loss ratio with Kotal Kahn from Bullock alone is actually one of the highest. Also, I'm going to bring Shao Kahn down here. Also going to bring Fujin down here for now. Collector. Collector's combos are stupid. Squander is also now his most ridiculous variation for damage. Katana, I never liked Katana. Every Katana I've faced... well, actually, oh, I guess that's... Katana is a bit stronger than where I thought to put her in the first place. She has a fast projectile, and if you pick someone like Kotal Kahn, Shao Kahn, someone who takes a bit longer to throw their own projectile, Katana will outzone you. But up close, not every Katana I've seen has been all that threatening. Yes, she can combo. Yes, she can get decent damage when all of her combos get going, but it's so easy to drop out of most of them. Either via breakaway or just jumping before she does her... is it back 1 or back 2? The dial-up where she can cancel into the fan lift. She can't actually fan lift you because you drop too early if you've jumped. So there's a lot of holes in her combos. She's quite beatable outside of that anyway. I'm gonna be biased. I'm kidding. No. No biases here. Well, I think it varies. Kano, I think within the tier that he's currently in, my success rate against most of the characters here has been quite high, maybe apart from Sonya Blade, but he is unsafe on everything, and he doesn't quite have the same options that Kung Lao does. You can put Katana here. While Kung Lao can go one step ahead with the meter burn, Kano doesn't quite have that. If anything, he only really has that in his Kano ball when you do it in the air. You can kind of delay it to make it seem like, oh, you're done and you're unsafe, but you can enhance and catch people sometimes. But otherwise, Kano doesn't have that. Kano kind of needs to have everything set up beforehand, like his Molotov. Well, I use Dirtbag, so I can only really speak for Dirtbag, but whilst the cocktail's up, whilst there's a chemical burn in place, a lot of magic happens. In the corner, Kano is like S+ in my opinion, but you kind of have to understand Kano well enough to know when to do whatever you want and when to not do stupid stuff. It also takes you understanding the opponent you're against, because you can't just YOLO it against a lot of the roster with Kano. It takes a bit of education going into it beforehand. Cabal has some of the most diverse combos, making him really fun, but I guess this isn't really based on how fun he is. Cabal is actually really strong otherwise, even outside of that statement. Cabals that I've faced have ridiculous dash cancels that are quite hard to read as to what's going to happen next, or quite literally I just don't react in time. Cabal's hook grab is really strong as well. That always has been though. Now it's just got that little bit of a boost from the armor break. I think Cabal is fine there. Johnny Cage would have been up here because of his stupid comeback factor. I've seen it firsthand a few times where it matters. However, he is not as strong as he once was, in my opinion. I'm gonna put Nightwolf here. Yeah. Johnny Cage lost a lot of what made him good, but a good Johnny Cage is still quite hard to beat. Jax. Gonna put Jax here. When his arms are heated up, that's kind of enough to throw everything else out the window. It's quite a sad set of affairs, if I'm honest. Jade. I'm kidding. I'm joking. There's been a really weird stigma around Jade because of how all she does is zone. The irony is she's a counter zoner with her dodging shadows. But the recent patches have made her that little bit stronger. Emerald Defender can now actually combo, so the scrubby zoning variation, ironically, is now the best one for damage. Somehow. Jade is still beatable, however. Jade isn't really all that scary. Also, Sindel, I think I over-exaggerated how scary Sindel is. It's quite easy to react to Sindel. Gonna put Sindel there. I'm gonna also put Jade behind Raiden. Jackie is here. You just... that... what's it called? The cybernetic override? Whatever that stuff is. You just forget how to think sometimes. And Jackie has always caught me in the state where I just can't think sometimes. And I get caught out for it. But, in the off chance that I am actually in form, a Jackie isn't normally all that intimidating. Upgraded Jackie is annoying. I think Jackie is just annoying as a whole. It requires too much thinking defensively. Geras has just been annoying all the way through. He's always been strong. And when they tried to nerf him, ironically, it actually made him stronger in other ways. Truly a fixed point in time. With every buff and nerf, he gets stronger. Frost is beatable. Gonna put Frost here. A good Frost has a bit more than what the Terminator has to offer so far. Terminator doesn't scare me, but Frost doesn't scare me by not that much more. Aaron Black, I don't see enough of Aaron Black to say. Back 222 is all I see. Aaron Black has really not been what he used to be, in my opinion. It's just not the same. I don't really know how to explain it. I don't face it enough to have any better sense of judgment. Devora. Okay, Devora's a weird one, because I faced a fair few people that are actually quite good with Devora, and I can kind of understand how to use Devora from what I've seen. With Buzzed, anyway. She kind of operates in the same way as Kung Lao, except it's not so much for frames, it's more just to jail people into blocking for a bit longer. So whilst you're blocking, it gives Devora that extra time to think of something. Or quite literally just a different way of attacking you. So let's say she's got the bugs out, they're flying towards you, you've just passed the block stun stage. She can go for a throw at any point between any of the bugs that come out when it's amplified. If it happens to be the last bug that's passed, she gets a free throw if it's timed right and you're crouch blocking. Or if you just don't recover and let go of the guard in time. D'Vorah can get a lot of leverage if the meter is used right. But in terms of matching up against me, D'Vorah is not all that intimidating otherwise on average. There's probably one person. If you know, you know. Cetrion... a good Cetrion will justify why she's an S tier. But there's not been very many that I've seen. But every Cetrion that I've encountered so far, not even from this season, but just in the past, a big chunk of the Cetrions just know how to get it done. A lot of leverage with the strings. I find it very hard to try and get in on her sometimes, whilst she's getting the jump on me in the process. Very frustrating. Cassie, I think this may seem controversial. Other than kneecapping, which is a projectile and a combo extender at the same time, Cassie is not really all that intimidating. I think it's because I've learned how to deal with Cassie because of how much I've seen her. So I would say, well, actually saying that, got Cabal here, got Cassie here, Nightwolf. Cassie is not all that, in my opinion. There's ways to get around a lot of her attacks. I just don't quite know how to explain. But when I next face a Cassie that is of a competitive standard, I could probably get some footage to explain what I mean. I've never really been scared of Cassie. Either way, a zoning one that just spams kneecapping, or one that actually gets to jump on you and combos you like crazy. Either one doesn't really scare me. I've had a decent record against Cassie. Baraka. Baraka, much like Spawn, is mad damage, but you kind of need to be in the right place at the right time to actually get it all off. Very, very rewarding character, but when things don't go well, it's actually quite easy to get the jump on him. He has a very good projectile, however, with the likes of Kotal, Shao Kahn, Kung Lao sometimes, it's very easy to get in on a zoning Baraka, but outside of the basis of zoning, I think Baraka's very scary because of his damage. But much like Spawn, he takes a very particular route to achieving that. He can't just dish it out willy-nilly. And that's where he kind of falls. Not as hard as Spawn does, because Spawn's moveset is way too limited. But when Baraka starts to combo you to get all the damage off, you can kind of see where it's going, as he has very few routes to go down. It's the same with every other variation for Baraka. He's quite predictable. Apart from 1-2 into a throw, or 2-1 into a throw. The one where the second hit recovers like crazy and he just goes for a throw midway. That bothers me. But other than that, Baraka isn't actually all that scary. Everyone is a tier down for some reason. So let me amend this. A Sub-Zero, if the connection is good enough, actually, by the way, Sub-Zero is like behind Scorpion. Maybe even behind Sonya. Scorpion the same, actually, because from full screen, what can a Scorpion do? Apart from Reborn Scorpion. Reborn Scorpion beats everything Sub-Zero has, but any other variation for Scorpion, you just crouch from full screen. What are they going to do? Run out of choices by then. Let's move everything up. Well, actually, yeah. I think that's a more accurate representation. Chronica is actually very interesting. I did the Aftermath story. I guess I can link it or put a card for you to go see it for yourself. But when we got to Chronica in the Aftermath story, I was actually playing it on very hard. Chronica actually only has one low and one overhead in all of her strings. Well, across all of her strings, she only has one of each. She has one string where the second hits are low, and if she's actually feeling very unforgiving, she'll reset that entire combo to combo you all over again. She doesn't have that in the string where there's an overhead. The overhead's the last hit. Her specials hit low. The ones where she brings out like the specials that come crashing down on you, they hit low, even though they come from above. This isn't about Chronica anyway, but not applicable all the same. Need to make a new one. I'm gonna make another one just to kind of separate the people that are beatable and the people that are actually beatable and good at the same time. So we'll call them B tier. B for beatable. Hassle free. A good Shiva. Well, actually, no, I haven't come across a good Shiva yet, if I'm honest. Aaron Black really doesn't scare me. I'm more afraid of a Devourer than I am Aaron Black. I think, based on where we currently stand, Ace of Knaves, Luhan Quan, everything about Jackie, everything about Gyros that I've seen so far, a Spring Cleaning Cetrion, Soul Eater, everything Fujin, Digital Soldier, the spins is why he's there. I think everything about Nightwolf is quite tricky at times. Showstopper and Outtake are the reason why he's here. Shock Jock is the one I use, but I don't see Shock Jock enough to kind of get an understanding of where Johnny stands. Johnny Cage with Shock Jock is one of the characters that I actually had a lot of success with, maybe a couple of seasons back. I even made a montage out of how many times I would hit the crushing blow where the second hit has to connect. That was really fun. I kind of went on a power trip or a crushing blow trip and got a decent montage out of it. It was good fun. Jax, Arm Heat. Shao Kahn would have been down here, but the buffs have actually made him quite a threat to a lot of the roster. Bullet Kotal, that speaks for itself. Collector can combo you into oblivion. Baraka, Spawn are damage. Sonya, combo, just haven't seen enough. Reborn Scorpion, a Sub-Zero when there's good connection, otherwise Sub-Zero is probably like down here as well. On a conditional basis, if there's lag or if there's no consistent connection, then Sub-Zero can be very annoying, but based on where Sub-Zero truly stands with me, he's probably down here. Katana, projectiles, the odd combos here and there. She has a decent armor break as well now, giving a lot more purpose to a few extra moves in her move list. Kung Lao, a good Kung Lao is still beatable. It's just a lot of trouble. A good Kano will not let you leave the corner. Raijin Raiden, I've not seen enough of. I've not really seen enough of any Raiden, if I'm honest. Thunder Wave, all you have to do is duck the Storm Cell, the final hit of the Storm Cell without blocking, and you've got yourself an easy uppercut crushing blow. From there, the rest of the match is history. Jade, as long as you don't let Jade touch you, she's not all that. Same with Scarlet, but she can blood tentacle you from everywhere, which is stupid and annoying. Noob Saibot, Shadow Slide, actually puts him a bit further up, I think. Everything about Sindel is not all that intimidating. And I think if we were to top it off, this is where my tier list currently stands through the season of the Oshtek army. It may change by the end. Robocop might actually have more purpose by the end of it. Let me know what you guys think.